welcome back to Basic Binges, part of Nom Talk Network. So on the show, we review popular shows that are out right now while eating and drinking our favorite binge-worthy snacks and drinks. And of course, don't forget to redeem those channel points. We have a lot of really fun ones, so definitely check those out. I am your host, Yaya, and right now I am eating some, it's not Chinese, but bánh hoi tignu with nem nung gung. Oh no, not nem nung. Anyways, yes, Vietnamese food. I love Vietnamese food. And for my drink, still tea. I'm a tea drinker. So yeah, excitement. I am joined by amazing guests today. So we have Kenji. So Kenji, introduce yourself and what you're eating.
So I started getting a little hungry and I started eating, but I had I have a little hamburger steak and some white rice still, and that's some Japanese food. And I also have, of course, my handy dandy, I guess, canteen of water. Gotta stay hydrated.
Yes, please stay hydrated. The weather's been so weird lately, and I'm just like feeling funky. And today we are joined by Stephanie. Yay! We do have another guest, Mike. Mike is on his way. So you guys just heads up, we might do a commercial break later just so Mike can join in when he gets home. But right now we have Stephanie. Say hi, Stephanie. Introduce yourself.
Yay! Hello.
If you're eating anything.
So I'm eating a bag of Doritos and I'm drinking water. Hello. Sorry. My camera would be on, but then OBS wouldn't work and then we wouldn't have a show. So you see this fake pic, but it's not fake, it's real, it's a real Photoshop. It's not Photoshopped, it's a real picture of me. Yay!
Yay! I know today's gonna be really interesting. I'm really excited. So today we are talking about episode 3 and 4 of American Born Chinese, which you can find on Disney Plus. So right off the bat, like, how did you guys feel about this episode compared to the last two we watched? Like, the pacing did change a little, and we also got two, like, especially the second episode that we'll talk about, like the style was very different. It seems really, so how did you feel with these two episodes, Kenji, compared to the last two?
Well, I personally, I definitely thought these two episodes were definitely they changed up the format a little bit, especially at the fourth episode. We got to see Michelle Yeoh do her thing, kick some butt, which is always great. I'm starting to notice a lot more with the fight choreography and stuff like that, how it's very reminiscent of the old Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Once Upon a Time in China, kung fu films, with the where it's almost like a ballet, the way that they fight. And yeah, I am really digging what they're doing. I had a little bit of an issue with the pro hazing thing that they were doing.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, yes.
But we can get into that a little bit later. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see the show kind of starting to get its legs under it and kind of start taking off and running a little bit.
Okay. How about you, Stephanie?
Yeah, it's, you know what? It's been a minute since I've multitasked like this. No, I really enjoyed it. I agree with Kenji with that bit about the hazing. It's, I don't know when this is supposed to be dated, but it's it doesn't feel right. This feels very 80s, and I know that was a thing that you guys were talking about last week about how it didn't seem like they knew what timeline they were on. But yeah, no, I'm just glad we finally got some action.
Oh no, most definitely. It compared to the we did get fighting scenes in the first two episodes, but this one just seemed more. So first off, with the third episode, we start off with Michelle with Guan Yu Pusha outside a buffet, and then Sun Wukong joins her, and then I'm gonna be sorry, that buffet looked really sad. And also the time I was thinking, I'm I hope this is a vegetarian buffet, because to have Guan Yu Pusan eat meat, I was kind of oh, she better not be eating meat. But first off, and then I was really angry where Sun Wukong left after one plate, and I'm what kind of Chinese are you? What kind of Asian are you to leave a buffet after one plate? That's not right. It's like it's in our blood to want to like put these buffet out of business by like out eating them and like tricking the system. But yes, and then after that, then we get to, I believe, that scene with it's I was actually surprised they showed this, the acupuncture scene. The fact that they actually stuck the acupuncture needle into the actress. And I was kind of like, oh, how would Western viewers like react to this? Because a lot of people do have like a lot of like, needle icks. And acupuncture is definitely one of them. How did you guys feel with the acupuncture scene? Either Stephanie, how did you feel with the acupuncture?
It did make me cringe a little bit just because I'm not used to seeing like needles in people, and it has nothing to do with like actually going to the hospital or going to the doctor or getting a vaccine or whatever. So it was like, but also like I did have acupuncture years ago, and like the things that she would say, like, well, it's because you're moving, or like you've just got a lot going on here. I'm like, dude, I totally understand this.
Mm-hmm.
Because like it's crazy. Like I'm sure you've done acupuncture as well. Like
Yeah.
it's it's so like you wouldn't think it would. I'm skeptical. So I wouldn't have thought it would work until I had it, and then I know. It's like, oh, I met God. Like I
Yeah.
believe in God because I met God. It's that kind of thing for me.
No, I agree. Like Western, especially Western, like, society tends to be very with like more holistic things, especially Chinese like medicine, like cupping and that kind of stuff. Although we have seen like a rise in the popularity of it, especially with like the Olympics a couple years ago, where you saw like Michael Phelps with all the cupping like
Yeah.
bruises, and then people started doing it and they're like, well, it works. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
no shit, Sherlock.
I know, exactly. It's like, yeah, why do you think we've done it for thousands of years? Because it works. But anyways, Kenji, how did you feel about the acupuncture scene?
So I've only had I actually wasn't icked out about it at all. I like my girlfriend gets acupuncture like twice a month because she has like really bad like back pain. So like I'm always watching like somebody getting like stabbed in a way. So like, and I've also had it done on myself, so it was never like a problem for me. However, like I will say the one time I did it, and I only had it done once, but the one time I did it, it was like, oh my god, I've never had acupuncture done on me before. And like I was laying face down, but I was like, I gotta get a selfie about this. So like I like took photos like this while there was like needles all down like over across my shoulders and stuff, which you shouldn't be moving at all.
No,
If it's in
no.
your shoulder. I was sore afterwards. Like my left side felt great, but my right side was sore. And my dad was like, "Did you move?" I was like, "Yeah, I wanted to take a photo. I took a selfie." He was like, "You idiot! Why would you do this?" Like, I didn't know when it would happen again. I was there by myself.
See, my next question was gonna be like, did you get like, were you called dumb for doing it? Because I was. Yeah.
Taking. Oh, I mean, I wasn't called dumb for getting the acupuncture. I was called dumb for taking the selfie. While like,
No,
like
exactly.
my dad swears by that stuff. Are you kidding me? No, he's all about it.
No. It's for taking the selfie.
Oh yeah, absolutely, for sure, for selfie. Yeah.
No, yeah. And also the thing, because yeah, you're not supposed to shift because the needles are in you, supposed to be at a specific point and all that stuff. But like acupuncture takes a lot out of you. It actually takes a lot of energy that you wouldn't think it does. And it's crazy. But with this scene, we actually have a really well-known actress playing the grandma, which is Lisa Liu. And she's been in a lot of things. She's a old actress in like China, and then she was also recently in Crazy Rich Asians, if I remember correctly. Love her. Yeah. And then we get to the scene, and this scene actually later you get introduction to, what was it, Melly, like the granddaughter, and then you hear about how like they're closing down shop because you can buy Chinese herbs from white people now, which is a direct quote from the show. And it's like, it sucks because that's actually what's going on in Chinatown right now in Los Angeles. Like all of these like old grandmas and grandpas who's like have their shops there for like 50, 60 years are getting booted out of the thing because the rise of rent, it's gentrification. And it's really sad to see that. And then like do like that they did address that in here in the show and talking about that, because this, especially, what was it? in 2020, wasn't there like a supermarket that was closed down in Chinatown, and that like caused a lot of like because that was like a lot of where these old grandma and grandpas would get their affordable groceries, and now it's really hard for them, and it's rent. It was sad time.
Yeah, gentrification is bad.
Gentrification is bad. Like last time I went to Chinatown, it was all white people.
Yo, like if they want to gentrify, they should gentrify their own. I'm just saying, like just
Right?
leave our cultures alone, dude. Like
Right? If you want to make like really crappy like apothecary shops, don't do it in Chinatown. Just do it in your own cities. Like, oh my gosh. Anyways, I can go ages about this. Anyways, and then
oh, and that's the end of the episode. No, I'm kidding.
that's the end of the episode, guys. No. Okay, so then we get now we also get we see like Jin has made it to the soccer team. He's part of the soccer team. They have the pep rally and all that fun stuff. And then we get to I think we can get to the hazing part now. What the heck? Like, why are they like, and then they make it seem all fun, like with the whole Despacito and everything, like it's so fun, but like they legit
Despacito makes everything okay.
Despacito makes everything okay. And his freaking Pikachu Kigurumi,
Oh my god, I love the Kigurumi.
I do too. I have it, and that's why when like with Anuja was all like, oh, my mom custom made it. I'm like, no, that's not custom made, that's manufactured. I have that.
It's custom made on Amazon.
Exactly. And then so the fact that they like interrogated these people and then used everything they said for their hazing, like, you know, he talks about his coin collection, knowing all the words of Despacito, like hating root beer, making him gag, like all that stuff, and they use it against him, and then they downplay like how bad hazing actually is. So I know you guys talked about the hazing part, so Kenji, go ham with the hazing part.
So like when I was in college, I was part of a fraternity, and we had one rule, and that rule was, we are not going to be like any other fraternity, and we will not be hazing the people who rush. And I was like, oh my god, because like that never happens. And like, because like you hear about like really dangerous things happening. Like, what if like it turned out like, you know, like his greatest, the thing that he didn't like wasn't root beer? What if it was like, I'm really afraid of like spiders, they give me like panic attacks, and it's like, okay, well, we want you to go to like Petco and just like get like just dump spiders all over.
They technically did that with the bird.
That is true. That is right. He doesn't like birds, so like, I mean, I don't know, like it's I understand that they're trying to make it like fun, and it's an initiation thing, but it's like, you know, because I feel like it's a tradition that can be very, very dangerous if it's not, you know, if it's not done properly. And technically speaking, both of those things, two of the things that he did could have very much gotten him like in a lot of trouble, like jumping into the fountain. Like he actually gets involved with the security guard, you know, and he also TPs the school after hours, you know, so technically he's trespassing, and he's also doing vandalism. Like it's not okay.
It's not. Sevi, do you have any input on this as well?
I am so glad I didn't join a fraternity because I feel like this is what would have happened, or worse, like if he was vandalizing and like doing like these little like, you can get arrested on minor charges with all of these things that you were doing. Like, no, I'm okay. I'd like to keep my record clean. Thank you.
Right?
But it just seems so dated. I don't know if it's just my age coming out, and now I'm in a parent age of like, you guys really shouldn't be messing with each other. Like, I don't know if I'm at that point in my life, unfortunately, but
like, I agree.
Exactly. Like, it just seems like so dumb.
No, exactly. Like this could have really legit jeopardized his future. And as an Asian who's like, you know, your parents, like the fact that they're immigrants and are like, you know, they slaved and they like sacrifice everything for you just to have a good future, and you throw it all away because of like, you want to fit in with the cool kids. I'm like, not cool. Not cool. Anyway, so, and we also get another part of the story is that like, you know, the mom the mom basically turns into a drug dealer with the
Yo,
herbs.
legit. But
It was
also,
so
what mom hasn't done that?
Oh my god, it's like okay, as like if you're not have a Chinese mom or Asian mom, you won't know, but like the WeChat like stuff where they share all of like those, oh, you need to do this, or else like you're gonna die or you're gonna get cancer. Like you need to eat this so you can cure cancer or something like that.
Or
It was exactly like that.
or it's like for the non Asian people that are out there, if you want to understand what's going on, specifically the lighter skin tone folks, it's like Avon calling. I
It's
have something
basically
to give you
MLM.
eternal youth.
It's
Facebook group.
oh my gosh, yes, it's basically the what was it? LuLaRoe leggings.
Yes. Oh
Or
my
the
gosh.
doTERRA essential oils, which I'm outing myself because I do use doTERRA essential oils.
You know the sad thing? It's nice though. Anyways.
It is. I have this on hand. I have a lavender on hand because it just smells so nice. I'm like putting it in my incense. Anyways, but low-key mom becomes a drug dealer. She starts like going to her friends, be like, oh, I have this thing, it can help you with like whatever aches and pains or illnesses. It can help your arthritis, it can help with your headaches, it can do this. And I was like, mom, don't do that. Like Chinese medicine is very much catered to people's bodies because some people's bodies are cold, some people's bodies are warmer, wet, dry. Like I have a more wetter, like hotter body like things. So a lot of like Chinese medicines I actually can't take because it's actually not good for my health. So I was kind of worried about that. I'm like worried that this is gonna lead to something. I haven't watched the other episodes, but I'm like worried it's gonna lead to something much worse later on because it's too hopeful right now.
I gotcha. I will not
But
tell you then.
oh no! Wait, Kenji, did you see the other episodes already, or?
I only watched up to. I'm partway through episode 5 right now.
Okay. So I'm behind you guys then. So, anyways, how did you guys feel? Like the whole like, especially like as like she's an Asian mom, everyone's like, I'll give you money. She's like, no, but as an Asian, if they don't give you money, you're kind of like, oh, they didn't give me money. But at the same time, if you say that you wanted money, it makes you seem like you're cheap. How'd you guys feel about that? Like the mom becoming like a drug dealer?
It's interesting because my mom has definitely done stuff like this where she's ended up like she goes to like a warehouse sale and like she buys like a bunch of things for like really really cheap, but then like she then turns around and then she like sells it at like the school's like bazaar or like the school's like flea market thing that they have, like and let me rephrase that, the Japanese daycares bazaar flea market sort of thing. It would never be the white school that does this. But like she would, and then of course like whatever, and even then she's only make like there's only like a fraction of a dollars worth of profit actually being done. So it's like maybe she bought it for like 30 cents and maybe she's selling it for like maybe like 50 cents to $1 or something like that. But the thing is, a lot of that money doesn't end up going back to her. It ends up going to the school and stuff. So like it's interesting, but it will say I right there with you, like that the thing of like, you took our stuff and you sold it when we're like suffering. Like, I mean, congratulations, but like that should be our money. But we can't say that. We can't say that that's our money. I feel like that's a blanket one across all the cultures possibly.
Basically, yeah, it's like, oh, I can't accept that, but in your head you're like, give me, but you can't say that you want it because they're going to be like, oh my gosh, like.
Well, not only that, then you have to return the favor even more so.
Oh my god, yes, yes. That's why my dad doesn't do things for his neighbors because they're gonna expect stuff out of us, and I'm like, Dad.
Yo.
That's exactly what my mom said. She was like, "Don't accept anything from them. Why would you accept it? That way you have to give them something."
Yes, that's why I don't help people. I mean, okay, I do. I did give my neighbor a stamp today, and then I was
they
kind of
owe you
sucked
a
into
favor now.
Well, she could have done me a favor by not having me in a conversation for 15 minutes.
Oh my gosh,
No,
no.
I completely agree with you in regards to what's happening right now in the scene because it's like you know they're shutting down. You will eventually not have inventory. What will you do at that point? Like,
Right?
where do they get it from? I don't know. Maybe she'll help them stay open or take over or something.
Oh God.
I don't know. Like,
You know, Stephanie, you're just not
what?
gonna say.
I don't know. I don't. I no. I'm saying this as if I don't know.
Okay, yes, okay, okay.
I'm saying
No,
this like
but
I didn't see the last 4 episodes. So.
no, no,
I was like, I didn't just watch this entire season. No, no, no.
no, not at all. But yeah, no. So I definitely said like this is where it's like, such a good portrayal of like Asian culture. I think this is where they really did like ask like again. I'm surprised of how much they did their research. I'm very surprised of how much they did their research for the show. So no, but yeah, like my grandma does this with like my red envelope still. Like she'll make me open it and look inside. And she's like, how much did they give you? I'm like, oh, 20. And she's like, okay, I gotta give like, 30 back or something like that. You gotta remember that. And I'm like, I just got free money. Stop. I don't need this. Like, I don't need this pressure. Just leave me with my free money.
Like, what am I supposed to do with this money? Buy them a gift or give it back to them?
Right? No, but it kind of is. It's crazy. Like there's like such this like need to like give back, but give more. So it makes it seem like you're like it. I'm not gonna. Anyways. Um, we get to a part. So Jin is doing his jump run. He gets like told to do a lot of tasks. Again, we said he gets told to steal coins from a fountain. He gets told to sing Despacito and like dance in public, chug a liter of root beer, which makes him gag. And then he gets the task to TP or rap like the school mascot of the high school, like the statue in front of their thing. And then here we get a little bit like his and Wei-Chen's like relationships seem to get a little bit better. So basically Wei-Chen helps him out because Wei-Chen originally they did arrange for them to meet like 5:00. Jin didn't make it because of the soccer thing. Wei-Chen goes to look for him with the blessing of Guanyin Pusa, and so he helps him out. And then Jin was all like, okay, yeah, I'll help you with your quest. And then he leaves. And then we get Nyomo Wang. We get the bull, like the demon king, the bull demon king. And we finally have the scene where he steals the Jingu Bang from Wei-Chen because Wei-Chen was being very careless. And I'm still I know that they have to make an antagonist and they have to make something like important, but I'm still really annoyed that they put so much emphasis of the importance of the Jingle Bang. I'm like, again, it's just a weapon. It's nothing special. But anyways, and of course we do actually see the trio in the end of this episode. We have Sun Wukong, we have Pixie, and we have Sandy, which they actually turn into I guess it's just portrayed by a female in this version. So Kenji, what did you feel about this ending part, about the whole, like, did you feel like it was going too quickly that for Wei-Chen to lose the Jingle Bang to Nyomo Wang, or I don't know, how did you feel about the ending of this episode?
So I was actually trying to understand where the conflict was going to be happening from, because I was like, okay, I mean, obviously this is based on the graphic novel, which I've really only been able to see fractions and portions of it. I will say, so like I was really trying to figure out, like, is this just going to be like a sitcom style thing where it's like, oh, with this obscure over arc of like this of like the of the quest that they're of the fourth scroll.
Mm-hmm.
I just was like, oh, and then like this every now and then it's like every episode they're gonna meet somebody that's gonna make things difficult for them, and whether it's by hijinks of Jin or by fighting of Wei-Chen, I was like, okay, what is it gonna really? So the fact that we actually got to see like the big bad about the whole thing, I was like, okay, like now, and not only that, it's like the story is that we don't have the Jinguban. I was like, oh, okay. this is going to be the cool story that we're doing. And I understand that like there probably isn't a whole lot of like importance to the Jinguban. Like, I mean, I feel like it's also, there's so many different versions, because I've heard one version where it's like it's one of the pillars of like the Jade Palace is what I've heard at one point, is one of the versions I think I've heard.
The Dragon Palace.
Yeah, the Dragon Palace, sorry. It's one of the pillars of the Dragon Palace. It's, you know, like, or it's just that it's just a very simple weapon that just gets big and it gets really small and big and it gets small. So like it's cool that it's like a modern twist on it, and I actually am kind of enjoying it so far. I can also say though that like I feel like this is probably also has a niche audience, just based on the audiences the episodes that we've been seeing so far. It probably has a niche audience.
I agree.
Personally, yeah, but I was very happy to see like that we got to visually see like the warriors all together, because you know, like as viewers, we've always kind of like wanted to see what this might like. I mean, in a way, we want to see like the actual like anamorphic versions of these guys, like walking around like they were in the in the old wall scrolls and things like that. So like it's cool to just see them all together. It's like when you see all the Avengers together for the first time, you know, it's like the group shot. It always makes you happy.
Agreed. How about you, Stephanie? How did you feel about the end of this episode and how it's going and how it went?
Well, it threw me into like a totally, because I almost forgot the point of the series not being just about this Asian American kid being completely like just anyways, you know, committing crimes. So I was really like I remember like when it happened, I was just like, wait, what is happening? When did this, why is this what, you know, like my brain just couldn't process it. So that's why I was like a little confused. But then I remembered, oh yeah, it's the story. But I, you know, like everything that Kenji said literally is what I wanted to say. Which means good job, Kenji.
I took it all.
Oh no, how dare you? No, but it was interesting, and it did kind of give me that feel of like, okay, now we're getting the characters that we've been kind of anticipating on, and we may not get all of the characters in this episode necessarily, but it was still like a cool moment because you do get a little bit of that action. But yeah, that the thing about the staff is it hasn't shown like, I feel like didn't the staff, like in other stories, like didn't the staff kind of have like a little more than just the extension and miniaturizing? Like
it was just, it's just considered a legendary like weapon that was in the armory of the Dragon Emperor. And then, and so, as Kenji said, some versions have it like, you know, it being one of the pillars of the palace. And then it's just it's a good weapon. It's like it's really good, but it's not like legendary to the point like how they're emphasizing in the story, how it's like it's needed. Sorry, it's like one of the keys to like, you know, the sutras or the scrolls and that kind of stuff. It was just a powerful weapon, but not like a key item kind of thing.
I see.
So you're saying it's more Thor's hammer and not an Infinity Stone.
Yes, right. Exactly.
Gotcha.
Thank you for that. Okay, there we go. Then what's the big hullabaloo about the?
Exactly. That's why I was like very much like kind of, why are they emphasizing this so much? And that's why I was kind of like, my cousin and I, when we were watching, we're just kind of like, what? Why? It's just a staff. Like, you know, if you wanted to take like, I don't know, Soul Cone's essence or something like that, then that would have been like, you know.
I think we need to ask this guy right here. Gene Luke Yang. We need to ask this person right here. Come on, Gene. Why is this so important, Gene?
Yeah,
but
Gene.
This story is not even in the comics. This is added. Yeah. So I finished reading the comics. The comics is basically about Jin. Jin is the main character, and you have 3 different like sections of the story that seems like they're completely separate until like the end where it comes together, and then when you figure out, oh, they are related. But there's no sutra thing, there's no like Nyomo Wang, there's not. That thing was basically a slice of life comic book of like a person of like this young like boy like finding his identity and becoming proud of what he is as an Asian. That's it.
See
Yeah, there
now.
is Sun Wukong in that one, but it's not like this. It was just mostly like using Sun Wukong's like his life as like an analogy for how like we need to be true to ourselves instead of being who like we want to be to like fit in kind of thing.
I see.
It's
Okay.
interesting. I didn't expect it too. That's
Okay.
why when I finished reading it, I was like, oh, Disney really took a lot of liberties.
Yeah, like huh?
Yeah, no one was not even in there. But anyways, I do have some questions in the end of that episode. Like, how did Myomo Wang even take the Jingle Bang? Like, wasn't that staff in Wei-Chen's like hands? Like, how did he just suddenly like have it? What was the point of Guan Pusa giving them fried rice for the road ahead? I guess I was like kind of like, why are these parts like what was supposed to fried rice part? I'm like, why is this in here? I don't get it. I don't know.
I straight up thought it was like the Jedi Force. You know, like how we had a little beef with like Mulan before because they treated like just
Mm,
Zen and like like they treated it
she
like
like
chi and like magic, and it's like, is this the other one? Are we getting to that point again?
oh god, the fried rice is the true match. Or I don't know. Anyways, then that episode ends and we conclude like, oh, like, Sun Wukong takes Wei-Chen back to like heaven. He's like, kid, like you're being dumb. I was never like that. Like, why can't you be like me? And his son goes, I don't want to be like you. And then we get the next episode, which is again like that whole episode is basically in Mandarin. That whole
Yeah.
episode was in Mandarin, and I did not expect that. I was kind of like, Disney actually did this. It wasn't like
Yeah.
Chinese drama level, like, style, but I was like, they did a whole episode in Mandarin. And in this episode, we actually get a lot of guest stars. We get James Hong as Yu Huang Dadi, the Jade Emperor. We get let's see, what was it? Poppy Liu as Princess Iron Fan, Tianshan Gongzhu. We have Jimmy O Yang as Ao Guang, which is the Dragon King. We have what was it? Stephanie Xu as Shijin Yang Yang, which is I guess the sorry, that's my dog. That's Tianshan Gongzhu's companion, the one that was all like, I want to eat noodles towards the end. But yeah, we also have Ronnie Chang as Ji Gong. So this episode seems like it's a flashback episode to like, oh, Wukong in his like prime or prior to like, when he was still being rambunctious before the journey to the west, basically. How did you guys feel about this episode?
It's always, personally, I used to go to high school with Stephanie Shu, so like to see Stephanie like in anything, it's like it's always been like, oh, it's great, it's good to see you. And I'll talk about like that looks like that would look like that. Talk about a dais of like the like the top Asian actors in our industry right now, like basically showing up as all the gods. Like of course, Ronnie Chang, Jimmy O Yang, being hilarious as always. I always love whenever they get to do stuff. And I love that personally, I think it's great that Ronnie Chang, I think it's great that he's getting so much work to like be to like because he's not just being just like, oh, he's a comedian guy to just be funny kind of thing. He's like he actually has like some nuances and with his performance and stuff, especially with like the whole wait, is that the next? No, that's the next episode. I'm sorry.
I'm
I was
excited
about to
now.
say
I'm
I was
excited.
about to say something and I
Spoiler.
was like, oh no, I can't say that yet. That's episode
That's
5.
for next week. Aha.
Yeah, Stephanie, you've already seen the episode, but all I'm gonna say is was Neil Diamond. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes.
Oh, I
That's
am
all I'm gonna
so
say. And
excited. I am
that
excited.
scene alone is just has got some nuggets of acting in there for sure. But that's the
Ooh.
next episode. We'll
Okay.
stop talking about it now.
That's for
Next
next
time
week.
on
On
ABC.
We'll
next
stop talking
time.
about it now.
Next time on binging. I can't. Basic binges. Sorry.
Sometimes I wonder where was I? What was I thinking when
The
I gave
binge
our
bump.
show's
Anyways,
name?
Basic binges is cute.
It's
The-
cute, but it's
we
confusing sometimes.
we like the alliteration. Anyway, Stephanie, how did you feel about this episode?
I loved it. I'm not gonna lie. Like
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. Like as soon as the intro part came up, I was like, no, they are not like I got up. I was like, they are not doing this right now. This is amazing. And like the only thing that I really had a problem with is it seemed like they ran out of budget for
Um,
for the scenes, like the settings where like all the gods are together and stuff. Like it
yeah,
just seemed like a
cheap.
pedestal, some curtain, and nothing else.
Yeah.
It's really
That's how I
sad.
technically felt about like Sun Wukong's palace in the first episode. How it
Yeah.
seemed really cheap. No, but yeah, I I honestly loved what they did. I did talk about before the stream was like the only major critique that I have was a little bit how disrespectful the portrayals some of the portrayals are.
Yeah.
Like when you have James Hong as Yu Huang Dadi as Jade Emperor, he goes like, "Oh, I've never loved you. I loved your younger sister." And I was like, um, that's not cool. And like when they're doing Ao Guang, he's like, "Oh, like make sure to put like the the water on my back and on my butt." Like he like when he's like shaking his butt on the throne part. I was kind of like, there was during some scenes like that. I was like, I normally don't mind like poking fun of gods. That's what original Journey to the West did. It was very much talking about how human and how like even the gods have their own like Sun Wukong actually talks about it very well in this episode. How like they're just patting each other on the back. They're like they're not actually doing anything. They're just giving each other like awards and stuff. But like I think that even then, like as much as I love poking fun of them, I think some of the portrayals were a little disrespectful, like with the whole qigong part, like chugging down alcohol until he passes out and that kind of stuff. I'm like, these are actual gods that we worship to this day, and sometimes
Oh,
to see that, it's a little like, like yeah, in Taoism, Qigong is a very, very important figure. All of these are. But anyways, I did like seeing all the gods together. I love seeing like the different gods. They brought of course, Ao Guang, that's main character, Yu Huang Dadi, Jade Emperor, his wife, Shi Wangbu, which is the mother of the West. And you also have Guan Yu, Guan Gong, the scene where Sun Wukong's talking to the guy. He's talking about his beautiful beard, and he's like the god of war.
yeah.
That's Guan Yu from Romance of the Three Kingdoms. He is
Oh,
actually a deified god. He yeah, so it was really cool to see that they had him in there because he's like one of my favorite gods. But anyways,
yo.
yeah, so I was kind of like, yes. I'm losing my train of thought.
No,
Oh
you're
my
good.
god.
I do want to say, while you try to find that train again,
Mhm.
your thought again, I do want to say, like, thank you for bringing that up because, like, I didn't think of, like, I saw it as a parody or like a satire, and I didn't
Mhm.
realize that it could come off as insulting, especially with like people who are really into like Taoism,
Taoism. Yeah.
Taoism. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like usually we're not as like thing, but it's just like it can give. I think also it can give off the wrong the wrong message, especially even to someone who's never encountered these gods, and then like
Yeah.
it's like very like suddenly they see like if they're like, oh, I remember that, like he was shaking his butt on like on American Born Chinese, and I've been like
Wait, wait, wait. Oh my gosh. What if because like, during this entire show, like they also bring up like the Fix It sitcom show,
mhm.
the whatever. And you know how like
Yes, the
Kihui's
beyond repairs, the like what could
Beyond
go
Repair.
wrong.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like I wonder if that was kind of like their way of like mirroring that scenario.
Hmm.
Because like
Maybe.
why else would they be like so on point with a lot of other things and then just like completely take a big dookie on deities
I
like
think
that?
I think it's also because like remember this is still Disney. It's for them
Yeah.
like this is just they're just thinking it's based on Journey to the West. Probably that's their mentality instead of like remembering that it's an actual these are actual religious figures.
Shame on you, script writers, how dare.
But we do like have like mentions of other gods like Chang'e, Naja, and all stuff. But we do have the backstory that Sun Wukong and Yoma Wang used to be like best friends, kind of. Like Yoma Wang like drags him, like takes him along with him. Sun Wukong thinks like he's their homies, but it turns out we get a rant that so Yoma Wang's all like, "You embarrassed me, so I didn't want to bring you in the first place." How did you like that dynamic of like Sun Wukong and Yoma Wang, like that pre thing, and we also like find out that Yoma Wang did say a quote about like, oh, well, if you want something, you need to take it, and you find out it was Sun Wukong who told him that at the end of the party. So how did you feel about the dynamic and what was going on from leading of them being friends, that end of friendship in the end, which leads to what we're going through right now? What do you think, Kenji?
So I will say, like, one of the things I was really hoping was that when we got that title drop where it showed like with the old 70s style, like Sun Wukong like title
Mm-hmm.
card, I was really hoping that the entire episode was gonna like be shot in that kind of like style where like the cinematography is just kind of shit, and just there's like, has like the grainy filter going
Mm-hmm.
over it, just to really sell it. I was really hoping for that, but we kind of got something a little bit more like cleaner, which I guess, which ultimately I guess that's probably for the long run. I think it was probably better that way because I feel like that could have probably gotten old probably quickly
Mm.
for a lot of people. However, like I will say, like, I definitely do love the way that we're kind of setting up like Sun Wukong's character with like the like how he's like the advice that he gives is essentially like we see like a much more and we see an ambitious Sun Wukong, but we also see that he's very arrogant, which which is kind of like the thing that we saw a lot in the. I mean, at least personally, when I read the books originally of the Journey to the
Mm-hmm.
West books, I always kind of saw Sun Wukong kind of being as like kind of he was kind of a cheeky bugger, he was
Oh yeah, no,
kind of
definitely.
he was definitely a little arrogant, kind of being told you're not supposed to do this, well, I'm gonna anyways. What are you gonna do about it?
Mm-hmm.
It's like leave this area alone. Well,
I'm
I'm gonna write calligraphy on this area anyways. I
No,
don't care if it's
exactly.
somebody's finger. I'm gonna paint.
No, exactly. That's actually one of the reasons why in the end he was put under the Five Finger Mountains because of his arrogance. And I
Yeah.
love that's at the beginning of he's like, "Oh, you're going to go work in the stables like I did, like working my way up." And I'm like, "You didn't do that. You let the horses out and you caused havoc." I'm like, that's like it's really funny, like seeing Sun Wukong being this mature figure and like being this parent figure saying that. I think we talked about this last like week too, like parents saying, "I've never done that," and then like flashback to their youth, they're like, ha, ha, ha. It's exactly that what I was watching. He's like, he needs to grow up like I did. I'm like, you were a little poop when you were young. It's like your child is so much better than you when you were young. I'm like, you need to give him more credit. He just stole this. You stole that too. I think that's the irony of it. Like his son steals like his weapon, which he originally stole from the like Dragon King, anyways, the Dragon Emperor. So it's really funny. It's nice to see like this dynamic of like parents remembering their childhood a lot different than what actually happened.
Real talk though, like
Yeah.
because parents are always like, no, I never did that when I was young. And as you get older, you're like, well, no, of course you did. Where do you think I got the idea?
I always tell people, if you really want to know if you really want to know if the stories that your parents told you as a kid growing up were real, ask your aunt and uncle.
Yeah.
Ask your aunt and uncle. They will tell you everything. They will be brutally honest about it too. I found out stuff about my mom too, and I was like, So,
Oh my gosh. No, yeah, that's with me and my dad. So my mom, thank God, has always been really transparent with like her weird escapades. It's because she's like, okay, I did this and I'm gonna tell you to not do it because I did it. But no, the tea that she like releases on my dad, I was kind of like, and because my dad, like, because my dad's like a good, like, if you look at him, he's like a good little Buddhist man. He's like really like, he's like, he actually dresses like Jin's dad.
Dude, oh my god. See, that's
I mean,
why
isn't
I'm
it
so
bad that
confused
when you
about those
first started
timelines.
describing your dad, he's just like this very nice Buddhist man. I was thinking, why am I picturing Jin's dad?
Dad dresses very much like Jin's dad. He has the collar, like polo shirt, glasses, and his hair's like coiffed on like one side with like the fluff on top. He wears jeans and he wears those dad sneakers that's like, you know what I mean?
Oh my
Those
god.
New Balance sneaks.
So like my dad, like, you know, yeah, he's like, he looks like that. And so my mom's all like, yeah, no, this is what he used to do. And my dad be like, no, to have like, you know, he's like the very generic Buddhist man. Like, no, like when we don't have the heater on, like the air conditioning on and I'm dying, he's like, oh no, to feel like to actually feel the coolness, you have to like envision the coolness in your heart or something. It's like if you think that you're cool and you feel that you're cool, then you will actually feel the cool. And I'm just like, Dad, it's hot. It's like 120 degrees. No, so he's like that. So and so when I ask about his past, he's like, oh no, I was a good child. I did this. And then my mom's all like, I'm just like, okay. She's like, we met on a skiing trip with friends. No. And I was like, oh.
Yo.
Yeah.
Same though, but with my mother. She's like, "No, we met like with mutual friends," and my dad's like, "Yeah, at a bar." I'm like, "Whoa. Whoa." But also, in defense of your dad, the electricity bill is really, really bad with the air conditioner. And that shows you I'm the age of being a parent. I got you.
Oh no, I get that too. That's me now because I'm like old at this point. I'm paying like my electric bills and I'm like, dude, anyways, we're gonna go off topic.
Anyways, back to ABC.
Back to ABC. But I do want to say like the portrayal, that's what I really like. What I really enjoy about this show is that the portrayal of like what we as first generation, second generation born like do go through, like the portrayal of the parents, how the parents deal with stuff, how they deal with stuff in relations to their kids and how they raise the kids. I think that this is a really accurate portrayal. What do you guys say? Kenji?
I would definitely. I mean, I'm only half. I'm actually half ABJ. So I'm not quite the ABC. I'm the ABJ, unfortunately. But even with that, though, like there's definitely like there's certain like roles that the mother I definitely see, like it's while it's not perfectly exactly the same, I definitely do see a lot of parallels and I do see a lot of similarities. And I definitely I definitely try to compare it to, like, because I growing up I had friends who were Chinese American, so I got to see some of their traditions as well and see get to dabble in that a little bit. Still remember the first time when I was just given just a bowl of rice and just all the food was in the center of the table and they just go for it. And you're like, wait, there's no plate.
Like, no, it's like every man for their own. Go.
Yeah, and it's just a bowl of rice, and it's just you just put it on the bowl, and then you just eat. I was like, oh, but I'm digressing. Like the point, I'm very excited to see more of this because I'm really hoping that based on what you've been telling me, it seems like they've been doing a lot of they've been doing, at least as far as like culturally, like the lifestyle wise, it seems like they've done their research. I know that you've been saying that as far as like the deities and the gods and stuff like that, they've been taking some liberties, and
I just think it's very Americanized with how they portray the deities. I think that's normal. Yeah.
But you're saying, like, as far as like the lifestyle wise, it's very, very accurate. So I'm actually really I will probably say that's what I've been finding a lot of my joy in watching this show is just being able to experience such a accurate slice of life kind of like lifestyle, especially as because I kind of feeling like outsider, because even as being American born, I'm sure you and Stephanie probably agree that sometimes you have some Western ideas and influences and stuff, and you're like, I want to think this way, and your parents are like, that is such an American way of thinking, you know.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Stephanie.
I again, as Kenji said, I am only half of I'm half Korean, so I'm ABK, I guess. uh, I'm only half of the ABK. We're getting a little like triangle over here. Um, but I, it, I the whole fact that the mom goes to church and does a lot of church activities and incorporate, like, and that's how she kind of like starts selling all that stuff. And I know this is like a different episode or something, like the way that the structure is of like you really should be paying attention to school. Like, why are you doing sports? Like, I
Mhm.
felt that in my bones because I wanted to join the tennis team when I was in high school, and like I took tennis lessons during the summer, and she was like, "No, no, 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 you can't do that. You're gonna break your neck." It's like, then why did you make me learn?
No, right? It's like the whole like there's like actually a joke about it where like Asian parents want you to like, learn music as like, for discipline, but if you want to make it your occupation, they're like, no. Even
Yes,
though they put you through years of like, I don't know, piano, cello, violin.
yes.
But once like after like, you actually want to do that for your, they're like, no, that doesn't make any money.
You know what? Now that you bring that up, because as soon as I asked my piano teacher, "Hey, can you like teach me like basic chords and then like that way I could play music that like is played on the radio." All of a sudden, she got too busy. Oh no. No, sorry, no piano lesson anymore. She's still busy. And I'm like, "Oh, no. Now you bring it up and now I'm sus. I'm sus now."
It's
But
like you can only do music for discipline. You can't do it for like joy.
no, no, you want Alicia Keys too bad. No, if it's not Mozart's or Chopin, it's nothing.
I know. Oh my god.
Ugh.
But yeah,
Oh,
my
so
brother is a music therapist, so like I don't know what magic he did on my mom, but he did good.
therapist. That's technically kind of with like healthcare.
I guess
It's the
it's
therapist, but
holistic,
yeah,
but
therapist.
yeah, that's
Dude,
not fair.
holistic makes a lot of money. Like if you do it right, holistic makes a lot of money.
It does. I
It's
miss
like
that money when I did massage therapy. It's considered kind of holistic.
it is, no, very much so. That's why I was kind of like, oh, in that last episode where like the grandma's going out of business, I'm like, no, you gotta market better now.
Right?
Market to the white people.
For real. I'm like, girl, you need to reconstruct the whole format. Let's go.
Right.
Get your little marketing team of people with the flyers and little samples. Be the drug dealer that you want to be.
Be the drug dealer, you
I do not endorse that.
grandma.
But
Sucks for grandma.
buy drugs from grandma.
I love the granddaughter in that episode. Oh my gosh. She's like, do you know new metal? Like, what was it? Bubblegum water? I was like, oh,
Bubble grunge.
Bubble grunge. There we go. I was kind of like, oh my God.
Well, my music sounds like nothing of those, but all of them combined.
Yeah. And I was like, that is such a Gen Z. Like, oh my gosh, we're dating ourselves. Anyways, but yeah, so it was a lot of fun. I personally really love like how this show is going. I love how what they've done so far, the setup for like the dynamics, the setup for Jin, his family, the mom and dad. And also like I love the fact that it seems like mom has like that very generic, like, because this happens a lot of Asian families, or especially in Chinese families, where mothers will sacrifice themselves, sacrifice their like jobs, their future, just so they can stay home, take care of the house, make sure the house is running smoothly, make sure the husband, like family, that kind of stuff. And like that, it's kind of like the 50 Housewives thing, where they start to feel stifling, but they're like, oh, it's my job, I have to, this is my duty. And I love that it seems like the mom here is like reaching that point, because the grandma, like doctor, she's all like, how long have you been married? 18 years. I love that there's an emphasis on that the mom is being stifled by the dad and her life. And then like the fact that now like she's able to like step out of that and doing the whole drug dealing thing. Like it's such like a nice to see that, you know, that it's a nice portrayal of seeing that how a woman can step out of like that role, because it happens a lot, especially in Chinese culture. Like it's like crazy how much women have to give up just for their families. I know this is like very universal in most cultures, but it is like as someone who has grown up like as a Chinese and seen this, it happens a lot, and a lot of like times like these mothers just break down.
Yeah. And then the midlife crisis happens and they become a whole new person. And you're like, where did all this woman would never inflict so much childhood trauma? Where's this bitch been my whole life? I'm
Right?
not talking about myself, I'm talking about the show.
Airing out our like our all.
Well, that's how we know this is a fiction story, right?
Totally
I mean,
fiction. Yeah,
I always
like,
make
she's
I
having
always
fun.
make the joke that we know that we know that Everything Everywhere All at Once is a fiction because the mother apologizes.
Apologizes. That doesn't happen in real life.
Turning red, fiction.
Fiction. Fiction.
No, it's just our generation writing shows and movies, basically saying, "Please heal us.
Please.
We need hugs.
We need love and affection." I love how we're airing like our dirty laundry like this stream.
Right. Welcome to
Maternal
ABC, where we talk
healing.
about our trauma.
But that's what this show is. This show, in a way, kind of really does heal that, or at least it helps with the trauma a little bit.
It validates your feelings
It
and emotions.
validates. That's what I have character AI for now. But
No.
anyways, but yes, that's what I think I do like the show. I'm really excited to see where the show's going. I don't know if they're going to have a season 2, because again, I have not seen until the end of the thing. I don't know if the conflicts get wrapped up in this nicely like tied up little bow. But I'm also kind of curious because this show only has 8 episodes, and we're already halfway through, and only now is the plot kind of like picking up speed.
Yeah.
But we're already halfway through the season. Mm-hmm. I'm curious about where the show's gonna go and how it's gonna like continue. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a season 2, hopefully, if it does well. Hopefully,
I really hope there is a season 2, because this whole Disney Plus format of like introduction for the first half of the series, and then you only have this much left, so now we need to really finish up the story. Like, I don't want them to change the tone.
Yes.
And I'm saying this as if I didn't watch the rest of it. So I really want them to, maintain that speed. You know what I mean? Like, yes. I don't want them to speed through something just because, oh shoot, now we only have 4 episodes. Like, like really, like I want resolution with like what's going on with his family, what's going on with him, what's going on with Wei-Chen's family, or like him and his dad. Like I'm hoping that it uses the same pacing to finish up the.
No, I agree, because I'm just like, I really hope that they're just not going to just like, because with how much everything is set up and with how much conflict there is, I don't think this could be done within this like such a small season, like such like little episodes. It's not plausible without it being like completely like poop.
Right, Disney, give us more episodes, god damn it.
What do you think, Kenji?
I mean, I'm excited to see where we keep going with this, because like I mean, I definitely feel you on that, because Disney Plus definitely has like that. That's how I felt about Obi-Wan, where I was like when things started happening, I was like, this is episode 6. We have 2 episodes left. How are we supposed to wrap this up? So there are parts of me where like, as you were talking about, I was like, yeah, there's probably way earlier, easier times to have this whole thing, like the conflict really start. Like, I could have easily seen this conflict happening in episode 2.
I agree. I think it was dragged out for a little bit, like, because the first episode could have just been the whole setup we had, like, okay, Wei-Chen wanting to fit in, Wei-Chen, like, I think, and then like, and we introduced, of course, like, wait, not Wei-Chen, sorry, Jin trying to fit in, Wei-Chen, like, coming in, and then episode 2, then we have like the whole more conflict, instead of like we get even like the last episode, I think now that they add the whole part with the whole drug dealing with the whole mom and the thing, that's a whole story that they just added in episode 3.
Yeah.
And that needs to have hopefully will have a resolution towards the end. But and then like we still haven't even seen Dad. It seems like Dad is probably unemployed. I don't know. Dad seems kind of like down this last 2 episodes. He's just sitting there.
Oh,
Or
he's
standing.
depressed because like the wife keeps pushing him too.
I was gonna say that this season ends with the mom just tossing a bag of herbs in the middle of the desert, like Breaking Bad style. And she just she's wearing the same thing that Walter White is. She goes, "Say my name." That's where it ends. That's how the series ends.
You know what? I will only take that now. But yeah, but I understand the dad's nagging, but like the mom's nagging the dad, but like he just seems like she's like James like walks past him like in the bathroom and he's just like, or he's like, watching the show, he's like sitting on the couch like,
oh my gosh, right? Like, and coming from somebody who worked in different levels of God knows what anymore. Like I like when he comes in and he just looks so like robotic, I'm like, that dude just went through the worst day. But it's like every day.
Agreed. And then but that's the only thing, that's the thing though, like his story gets introduced in like the 2nd episode, but the 3rd and 4th there's like no mentions of his like his part of the story. So I'm just kind of like, dude, I feel like I personally think they added a little bit too much stuff that they have to tie in, and I don't know if they can do that within the span that we have. I don't know. Yeah. We'll watch the rest of the episodes and we'll have like 2 more weeks
right?
of like speculations and like reflections. So yeah.
Next time on ABC.
Next time.
I was about to say, will Jin's mother go to jail for drug pushing? What will happen to the Jingu Ban? And who exactly is the Dragon Lord? Find out next time on ABC.
Just like that.
Exactly like that. That's basically was the opening for like, what was it, episode 4? With the, like the silicone, like, oh, when he was young. Da, 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 da.
Yes.
That was fun. I really enjoyed this last episode, especially episode 4. The fact that it was in Mandarin just like tickled my fancy. Yeah. Anyways, do you guys have any comments for this, like these 2 episodes, or what you're hoping will happen, what you wish they could have done? Any comments about these last 2 episodes, Stephanie?
I will say, like, especially after you brought it up, like, I do wish that they were a little more connected with the deities and they didn't make them like over the top cartoony. I feel like it was kind of, just to play the devil's advocate that I hate doing. Like I feel like it was trying to maintain that 70s style kind of like action, but it did go a little hard and a little rough sometimes. I was like kind of losing the focus because they were trying to cartoonify these characters. That's all.
Okay, how about you, Kenji?
I was really, I mean, I don't know, maybe I was expecting, I was hoping for more martial arts happening. Like, it seems like there's just like one fight per episode, which I'm like, okay. I mean, I guess we only have half an hour to really tell these things, and these things take up at least a third of the episode. I get it. That's fine. But like, a part of me still wants more. I want to see more of that kind of like, it's just so beautiful to watch. It's just so weird because it's like, it's so beautiful, but then like it's like in the living room, you know what I mean, with like boxes and stuff. So it's like it's very interesting to see, and watch. And I would like to see more fighting, but I would love to know how we're gonna wrap this all up. And because if it is going to just be wrapped up with a nice little bow by the end of this, I'm really hoping they can do a good job with that.
Yeah, because I think like 8. I think it's not like they're releasing more. I think 8 episodes. It's the full season for this time. Yeah. I don't think there's actually going to be any more. So I know, I agree. I'm hesitant. I'm like hoping that they do everything like right towards the end. It's not just like everything is rushed and just random shite ton of exposition in like the last 30 seconds and that kind of stuff. And then like everything just like, oh, happily ever after. Oh my God, Neomo won, like, you know, because like now they also bring up the fact that they have to like find the fourth scroll. Like there's no like progress with that whatsoever. But
Well,
like
I
the
mean,
fact that it took 3 episodes
Yeah.
for Jin to agree, and I'm just like, it's really interesting because in the end we have like that scene where Wei-Chen's like, oh, I was gone for a day, and then Jin's like, no, you've been gone for a month. I like that because that's actually canon with like our beliefs, is that like one day in the heavens is like, well, technically it's a year here. So that's really cool that they did keep that whole like, oh, the time does not match up between there and here. So just saying that. But yes, I do hope that they do the story justice, because I think like to have this and to have such an accurate depiction of like, you know, American born Chinese like life, our culture and that kind of stuff, I really hope that they don't half-ass it, because I would be so pissed that we finally get decent representation for them to screw up in the end. So that's what I'm just saying. That's my hopes for the show, that they don't screw it up. And I think that's going to be my hopes for the show until the very end. Anyways,
We've heard that on these shows. No, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
it's true, but that's all the time we have for today. We went very off topic and on topic and aired our dramas and our dirty laundry, but I loved it. You guys are awesome. But today we talked about episodes 3 and 4 of American Born Chinese, where you can find on Disney Plus. And thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to join our discourse to keep the conversations going. Shout out to my guests, Kenji and Stephanie. So tell us where people can find you, Kenji. All your social.
If you would like to find me, you can find me on Instagram and on TikTok at Kenjinator. I also do Twitch streams with my father, who's at KD in LA. We do a Dungeons and Dragons podcast. Unfortunately, we will not be doing it next Saturday. We will not be doing it this coming Saturday because my father is traveling. But next Saturday, we should be doing it at the usual 3 p.m.
Woo! And of course, Stephanie, where can we find you on all the socials?
Yay! So you can find me on Nom Talk Network. I'm basically there all the time. That is the account that I manage. And then I tag myself, so you can also follow. Oh shoot! I totally used the wrong command in chat. My bad. That's a different Stephanie. It's not me. But you can find me at Stephanie Sandmeier. Again, it's tagged through Nom Talk Network, so just go see Nom Talk Network.
Just follow us on everything.
Yeah, no, this is a different Stephanie.
Stephanie
Yeah,
McGee.
Sorry, I'm not that Stephanie.
I love that. But yes, follow Nom Talk Network on everything. I am Yaya. You can follow me. You can find me here on Twitch Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. At My Hamachi, I play random games. You can find me on YouTube, which is also at Jade Palace Yaya, where I make videos about Chinese culture, traditions, all that fun stuff. And you can follow me on all the socials such as TikTok, Instagram, and all that fun stuff, either through My Hamachi or Jade Palace Yaya. You can also listen to our shows on Google Podcasts. Oh my God, I keep on hitting my plate. I know, like on all the stuff. So Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, everything. Just follow us on everything. At Nom Talk Network. And yeah, so tune into our next show, which will be on Monday, which is going to be talking about The Room, which some people have very strong opinions on. Until then.
Hi, doggy.
Until then, I am your host, Yaya, and you have a namaste day. Sejila. Bye-bye.